And it is time for Building Rural Wealth, and we have with us this morning Denise Miller. How are you, Denise?
I'm great.
Amy Shipley as well. Amy, how are you?
I'm fine.
I love it today. Are you ready to retire or just ready to quit?
I know.
Oh, haven't we all had that? I'm just ready to just done.
Everybody. I had that this morning. You know?
So tell me about it. Set this up for me, Denise.
We've all had those days. The phone doesn't stop ringing. Somebody calls in sick. A customer has an issue or they're demanding, and people you work with and your employees are irritating you and they're frustrating. Yeah. Not at Milestone Financial Group.
No.
But, maybe you're sitting in traffic, which you don't really so much here in Red Oak. But, you sit in traffic and you think, oh, my gosh, I cannot do this. I am done. And for people in their late 50s and 60s, retirement starts sounding really appealing, especially after a particularly difficult day at work.
Yes.
But here's the question. Are you really ready to retire, or are you simply looking for a change? And today we're going to talk about telling the difference.
Okay. This should be good. Okay, Amy. Burnout isn't the same as retirement.
That's right.
So talk to me about that.
Okay.
At least they tell me.
So, burnout, you might have had a bad day like Denise has talked about. And one of the biggest mistakes that people can potentially make is making a permanent decision based on a temporary situation. So, emotions will come and go, but making a decision like, I'm just going to quit, I'm just going to retire, that's permanent. So, it's something that you probably just want to slow down, think about. If your work's exhausting, if it's not exciting like it used to be, those are all real feelings, and we all have them on different days. But none of them mean that it's automatically or financially time to retire. So when something goes wrong and you go home and you tell your spouse, I am quitting tomorrow. And then you go
done.
back.
I'm just done.
I'm just done.
Yeah.
And Tuesday's a little bit better, Wednesday, Thursday, and by Friday, it's past.
Yes.
So you don't want to make a temporary situation into a permanent solution.
Okay.
It could be if you're a doctor or an office staff, you're frustrated with insurance. Or if you're an accountant and people are bringing you things at the last minute, you just want to quit. You could be a sales executive that's just really tired from all the constant pressure. And you're ready for a different role, but maybe not a different life. So we encourage people to try and separate the emotions that they're feeling today from the decisions that they'll have to live with for the next 30 years, right?
Okay. So here's a question. Am I running away from something, Denise? Is that something I should ask myself?
Absolutely. The first question is, what exactly are you trying to escape? Is it your commute? Is it the long hours? Is it managing employees? Is it coworkers? Is it a regulatory headache? A difficult boss? A stressful business? Because each one of these problems has a different solution. If you're burned out by being a manager, maybe retirement isn't the answer. Maybe it's hiring another manager or a different manager. If you're tired of ownership, maybe selling part of your company is an option. If you're exhausted, maybe you take a sabbatical or, take some time off to try to get some clarity about what you've been missing. But retirement shouldn't automatically be your first solution if you haven't identified what the real problem is.
So what am I retiring to, Amy?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yes.
if you make that permanent decision one day without thinking, what am I retiring to? We spend all of our life working and planning for that day that we're going to retire. And a lot of us don't think about, well, what are we going to do after we've done that? So imagine, if you will, two retirees. One just says, I am so ready to just get up every day and not have an alarm go off and do what I want. But they don't really know what I want is. Are they going to do very well in retirement? Are they going to be bored? Are they going to feel like they don't have, something to do every day? And the second retiree says, okay, I'm going to start volunteering at the local food bank or my church. I'm going to spend a couple of days with the grandkids, teaching them all of my worldly knowledge.
That could be dangerous.
I know.
That's right.
Maybe I'll do a little consulting work or something like that. I'm going to travel. I have some trips. Now, which one of these retirees do you think is going to adjust better, right? The happiest retirees usually have something that's pulling them forward, not something that's a definite end. It's the grandkids, it's travel, it's gardening, it's volunteering, it's helping out, with the family farm, consulting, part-time work.
Yeah.
Something that they have enjoyed but haven't had the time to do. Fishing, golf, church leadership. Whatever it may be, their purpose is waiting on the other side of retirement. And eventually the retirement honeymoon wears off, and we've seen people retire and then start a business 6 months later. Not because they needed the money, but because they're missing out on that, solving problems, having conversations, having, significant relationships with other people. So retirement really works best when you're moving toward something, not when you're simply moving away from work.
Oh, but another important question is, does my financial plan support retirement? Before you walk off in a haste because of that doggone boss.
Exactly.
What's your financial plan look like? So tell me about this.
Denise. And just because you're emotionally ready to retire doesn't mean you're financially ready to retire.
Yes.
And there are a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. Can your investments provide an income for what lifestyle that you plan to live for? This is probably the biggest thing people don't think about, and it's healthcare. And that's because you're covered by this wonderful group health plan, and you've got this great health insurance, and people over the age of 50 have no idea how much healthcare costs in the private world.
It's really expensive.
It's really expensive, and it has really high deductibles, and it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the whole thing, that people just nobody gives that consideration, and then they quit, and then they come in and they're like, oh my gosh, do you know how much my health insurance is? And you try to have these conversations and you try to tell people, and some people listen, some people don't. So, your health care is a huge consideration about your health insurance. What about Social Security timing? Once you turn that Social Security on, there are limitations about that, and you run into different things with your income and that kind of thing. So all these things you have to really consider. And, if you have two couples who are approaching retirement and they're in their early 60s and they've saved the same amount, one can retire comfortably. Maybe the other is going to have a harder time because numbers aren't the whole story. Maybe one couple has a pension. There aren't a lot of those companies left that pay pensions, but maybe they've paid off their mortgage. Maybe they're going to not travel. They're going to spend a lot of time at home, close to their kids or close to their home itself. While others may want to travel extensively every year. It's kind of, those differences are going to matter about your retirement, if you're going to be able to afford to or not to. And again, these are all discussions that you should have prior to that decision of, I'm done. I'm done, I'm quitting, I'm going to retire. You can't just figure it out. It doesn't work that way.
So are there any questions we need to ask ourselves, Amy, around this that we've left out here this morning?
Well, I think the big point we want to make is, do you really want to retire by saying, take this job and shove it?
Pull out the Johnny Paycheck,
the old
baby.
Johnny Paycheck song. Exactly. Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah. You might want to, but...
Yeah, we should listen to that later.
We should. We should.
You know, sometimes people do quit after a difficult year or conflict or a disappointing event. You know, and those emotions will eventually fade, but your retirement decision, that's not probably going to change. You most likely won't be able to go back to that job that you shoved. So,
and Social Security is not a do-over either. Once you make that one,
that's right.
You know,
it isn't. Yep. So it might not be the best idea to make a really big financial decision after an emotional event. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the questions to ask. And the other question is, if I worked one more year, what would that year accomplish? And it might really change quite a bit. It could increase your retirement income.
Absolutely.
Social Security is based on your 35 highest years of income. Mm-hmm. So if you worked one more year at a higher income, it's going to knock off your year of lower income. Would this reduce my taxes? Could I do some Roth conversions? Could I pay off some debt, improve my business value, or fund more travel? You know, the point isn't that everyone should work longer, but it should simply be to understand what you're gaining or giving up by retiring this year instead of next year.
All right, wrap this up for me, Denise.
Well, you know, retirement isn't just about reaching a certain age. You know, it used to be everybody planned for, I'm going to work till I'm 65, mm-hmm. you know, mm-hmm. and now people are living longer, they're working longer, and it's just, you can't let age be the sole reason that you're going to retire or that you're sick of this job.
Yeah.
You know, that shouldn't be your sole reason about what you're going to do in life. It's about reaching a point where your finances, your purpose, and your life are all working together.